Hi everyone, meteorologist Ed Valley here taking a look at the long range, and we have a big system moving through here today across the Midwest and Ohio Valley. Rain, parts of the eastern belt, showery in the central, severe weather down in the delta, and then dry out in the plains. However, good moisture last 72 hours, mostly coming within the last 24 to 48 hours across the plains. Look at this. Anywhere from a quarter to 3/4 in the western parts of the plains in Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, and then a half to 2 inches in central and eastern Kansas and Oklahoma and southeastern parts of Nebraska, western Iowa, and that spreads east as well. And it's continuing, as I said, here right now. So overall, an area that has been quite dry has gotten good moisture. And, I think that's something we can't ignore. However, everybody's asking, hey, is this enough to quell the concerns? And my answer to that is no. I mean, we have large deficits that have developed here. And I want to kind of go over that real quick with you because perspective is never a bad thing with these types of situations. So if you look at the last 180 days, just to give you an idea, dating back, I guess, to late September, it's been wet up in the northern belt, in the eastern belts too. But notice Nebraska and Kansas especially, as well as parts of Iowa, Minnesota, Illinois, it's been dry. We have 2, 3, 4 inch deficits in some of these areas. And if you go back 90 days, even still we have 1 to 2 inch deficits, right? So you might think, well, Ed, they just got, a couple inches of rain in the last day. As shown here. Well, that's good. However, you got to remember that as you add days to the map, each day gives, you average a certain amount of rain a day. So even if you get good rain, you're supposed to get rain, quote unquote, every single day when you look at a data set, right? So it's good, but again, we have to be wary of these longer term deficits that have developed, and that's going to be the story moving forward. So I want to talk about that because I'm going to just play through the next week, and I want you to focus on Nebraska, Kansas, and the Panhandles, okay? Notice how there's not a lot of precip moving in here. You see that? Really none over the next 10 days. So we got good rain, fantastic, but we're going to dry it out again. And you notice the result is the eastern belt being wet here through midweek and even through the end of the week. And then as we head into the weekend, we dry out, we cool off. But then as we head into the following week, around the turn of the month, another storm moves through the prairies in the upper Midwest and plains, in the Ohio Valley, but misses the plains. And you look at the amounts during that time, completely misses the plains. You see that? So that's the area that we're most concerned about here moving forward. And you can see right through the 1st of April, not a lot of precip in the areas that need it. So longer term here, what's the deal? And you see here the models are actually getting a little bit wetter in parts of the western belt as we head into the first week of April. The GFS also agrees with that. It's associated with the MJO because if you look here, same time frame, look at these temps. Warm south and east on the GFS, a little bit cooler on the European, but still somewhat of a changeable weather pattern moving forward, and it's all related to the MJO. Over the last month or so, we've been in this 2, 3, 4 regime, phases 2, 3, and 4. What does that mean? Well, those are the most common La Nina signals, and you notice we're coming out of that, and we're actually going to be going from phase 4 into phases 8 and 1 moving forward as we head into the beginning of April. What does that mean? Well, you see in phase 4, notice it's a warmer look like we've just been saying, right? But look at phase 8, much colder. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this forward into into April. And you notice it's a little bit weaker of a signal, more realistic, I think. A generally slightly cooler than normal type pattern for a lot of the ag belt. And that lingers into phase 1 as well as we start to see a resurgence of the warmth. So it's a brief cooler period, but it is going to be a cooler period, which is why when we see these models hinting at some cooler risk, it makes some sense. And also we just talked about the wetter risk, right? Phase 4, almost identical to what we're seeing now. Dry plains, wetter east. Phase 8, also dry plains, wetter east. But look at phase 1. Notice how the moisture starts to move back west a little bit. Add some credence to some of these models that are suggesting that the first week of April might be a little wetter in the plains. Okay, so generally speaking here moving forward, it's a cooler than normal pattern and one that favors rain in the eastern belt. But I think as we head into April, we start off cool, but we might start off active for most and then warm it up as we head into the middle of the month. So that's an update for you. Have a great rest of your Tuesday, and we'll be back here on Thursday with another video.